Like and subscribe right now, or you're gonna have terrible luck for the next week.
The idea of prison time doesn't sit well with most people. Being thrown in a prison means you're most likely to bump into some not-so-likable characters. That is, if you're not one yourself. You're also locked up in mostly bad conditions. While that's true for a majority of prisons around the world, a few have emerged as the definition of fine living behind bars. Here's a deep dive into the most luxurious prisons around the world. Number 10. Pondok Bambu Prison, Indonesia. Indonesia has hit the headlines a few times because of how some of its high-profile prisoners are treated. Most prisons in the country can actually be luxurious as long as you can afford it. What happens is, rich convicts, like those held on mega corruption charges, offer their prison directors goodies like cars and cash. In return, the directors arrange posh living conditions for these inmates, offering spacious rooms with a flat-screen TV, a water heater, air conditioners, nice couches, and even personal assistants. On top of that, the inmates are free to receive as many visitors as they please on a daily basis. Basically, anything the rich cons want, they get. There have even been reports of some prisoners getting out for a few days as long as they promise to be back. Pondok Bambu in Jakarta, a women's facility, was among the various prisons across the country where the rich could live as lavishly as they would if they were free. Beauty treatments and salon visits are pretty common here. Meanwhile, the average guys have to brave the cold floor in overcrowded cells. Number 9. Justice Center, LEOBEN, Austria. The Justice Center LEOBEN in Styria, Austria, houses both a courthouse and a prison and is certainly one of the most well-designed buildings of its kind. At any one time, the prison part of the building can only hold a total of 205 inmates, a policy that's strictly enforced to prevent overcrowding, which means that convicts that end up here have access to world-class facilities. But the only bummer is they can't get out at will. For starters, the prison complex features lots of floor-to-ceiling windows that allow natural light into the cells, a huge deviation from what most prisons offer. Each of these rooms has a TV, a bathroom, and a kitchenette, and prisoners are free to move around in different rooms. And if staying in a room is too much of a bother, the area outside is just as inviting. A basketball court and an outdoor gym keep them busy. Number 8. BASTOY Prison, Norway. Incarceration at Norway's BASTOY prison is more of a forced vacation. For starters, it's built on an island, the BASTOY Island, with the whole land being under prison management. In total, there are about 80 buildings on the island surrounded by farmland, beaches, and forests. Most of the inmates here spend their time working on the farms for a stipend that can be spent at the prison's canteen. If they're not on the farm, the inmates are free to hop into the library, go cross-country skiing in winter, fish, or even take horse rides. Sometimes they can also just take time to soak in the sun if they don't feel like doing any of that stuff. And instead of dingy-walled cells, convicts enjoy fully furnished wood cottages that might as well pass for holiday accommodation units. While it might appear like the luxuries encourage offenders, that's not quite the case with Norway. Statistics show that reoffending rates in the country are a mere 16%, several times lower than the rest of Europe's staggering 70%. Number 7. ARANJUEZ Prison, Spain. This is the only known prison so far that allows inmates to continue living as a family. According to officials, the basis of ARANJUEZ is to provide kids with an opportunity to bond with their parents as well as giving the inmates a way to learn parenting skills as they serve time. To make it child-friendly, the prison's walls are dotted with Disney characters and the convicted parents are offered cribs to help with their parenting journey. Other amenities offered by the prison authorities include weekly doctor visits and healthy food for the infants. And as the children grow, they are free to attend the nursery school and play with others in the prison premises. But this privilege doesn't last for the parents' term. As soon as the kid hits 3 years, they're either taken to relatives or into foster care. And not every prisoner incarcerated at the prison is eligible for this kind of arrangement. Sex offenders, for instance, are barred. As awesome as it might sound, several experts have expressed some doubt about the whole idea of raising kids behind bars. According to them, these kids don't have the required stimulation for healthy growth. Number 6. JVA Fuhlsbüttel Prison, Germany. The JVA Fuhlsbüttel Prison underwent some major renovations back in 2011, transforming it into one of the classiest correctional facilities. Most criminals will probably have no objections to serving long-term sentences here. Just like most of the luxurious prisons here, the facility features spacious rooms, a big difference from what would be considered the norm in a prison setting. And it's not just an empty space either. A couch, a nice bed, a chair, a desk, and a table fill up the expansive cells. And when the inmates need to, they can simply jump into their private bathrooms found in each of the cells. Inmates who need to break away from the monotony of their cells can head into one of the prison's recreation rooms for some chit-chat. Each of these recreation rooms features a telephone corner for when prisoners need to catch up with their loved ones on the outside. Meals are also reportedly better than most prisons. It's not clear exactly how the menu looks, but it's alleged that the inmates at JVA enjoy a good quality, nutritious diet as they serve their sentences. And when they need some laundry done, there are a couple of high-end washers and dryers that do a great job. Prisoners also have keys to their own rooms. Number 5. OTAGO Corrections Facility, New Zealand. This medium security prison is one among a series of 4 prisons that the New Zealand government constructed to the tune of 1 billion euros between 2005 and 2007. OTAGO itself was opened in 2007 with 27 buildings and an initial capacity of 425 inmates. On top of detention, the prison also offers rehabilitation, which is typically divided into 3 programs, namely medium intensity rehabilitation, short rehabilitation, and drug treatment. Medium intensity rehabilitation is specifically tailored for inmates who aren't exactly a major risk but can still use a bit of rehabilitation. The short program, on the other hand, is for all inmates who need rehabilitation but have way shorter sentences to undergo the longer programs. Number 4. HMP Adwell, Scotland. This prison in West Lothian has been around since 2008, but the planning started back in 2004 and the construction 2 years later. It's considered to be one of the best prisons in the UK and around the world, both for its policies and the facilities it affords the inmates. According to the prison's official website, HMP Adwell is more than just a lockup for offenders. It is more of a rehabilitation facility, striving to educate prisoners about their offenses, the kind of environment under which these offenses took place, and how they can change for good. On top of that, the prison also allocates each inmate 40 hours per week for learning some skill that'll eventually help them once they step out of its walls. So Adwell's luxury isn't much about the nice amenities and whatnot, although it's no doubt exceptionally built. It's most known for its pristine decor and bright walls that are apparently designed to help inmates feel relaxed as they go through the rehabilitation process. That being said, the facility isn't without newsworthy incidents. There have been major riots at least thrice since the prison was opened, and all of them have ended with prison custody officers being injured. Number 3. Sollentuna Prison, Sweden. Sollentuna Prison is one among several other Swedish prisons that are quite the opposite of what you'd expect a traditional prison to look like, but Sollentuna stands out because it's several times better. The prison cells incorporate a good deal of plants just like most prisons in Sweden. This is generally aimed at improving the well-being of not just the prisoners, but everyone who interacts with them, including the staff and visiting friends and family. In Sollentuna, prisoners enjoy cooking their own food, watching TV most of the time, and exercising in the fully equipped weight room. Such arrangements seem to be working for Sweden, as the country has had to close some of its prisons in the past, citing a dramatic drop in the number of criminals.
Now it's time for today's best pick.
Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber, so if you come across a photo online and you want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it in a future video. Number 2. San Pedro Prison, Bolivia. Situated in La Paz, the San Pedro Prison is the largest correctional facility in the city, holding at least 3,000 inmates, and it's quite a peculiar one. Actually, the prison's population isn't entirely made of inmates. Their wives and children too live here in what has become a complete community with leaders, communal areas, courtyards, markets, and restaurants among other amenities you'll find in a typical neighborhood. Inmates here have to buy their own cells from other inmates, an arrangement that makes life for the moneyed more than bearable. That's because they can afford to own the more pricey units with more space and small comforts like a hot tub, nice furnishings, and good views of the city. Such units can cost as much as $30,000. Prisoners who can't afford to raise that kind of money have to make do with the lower end of the prison, where as many as 5 people share a single unit. The government doesn't get involved with what goes on inside the prison, but there are guards around the wall just in case an inmate tries to break out. It's like a real-life sauna, if you're familiar with the Prison Break TV series.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it, it really works.
Number 1. Halden Prison, Norway. This is Norway's second largest prison, which opened in 2010 after 10 years of construction at $250 million. It can hold up to 252 inmates, about half of which are absolute nightmares to society like rapists, murderers, and child molesters. A good portion of the other half is made up of those convicted on drug charges. Despite being a maximum security prison, Halden is remarkably different from other facilities of its kind. It lacks some of the most common security measures like snipers, barbed tape, towers, and electric fences. However, it does have a network of tunnels that the guards use in their patrols, safety glass, and a wall. That's a typical prison environment up to this point. But things get rather interesting when you look at the units the inmates stay in. Each cell is about 100 square feet and comes with all the bells and whistles of a normal living, like a desk, a toilet and a shower, a mini fridge, and flat screen TVs. Kitchens are also part of the arrangement, where up to 10 cells share one that's equipped with a dining table, stainless steel silverware, and porcelain plates. These cells also share a living room that features a couch and a gaming system. According to the government, the facilities are important in making the prisoners feel like they're part of the society, which would be helpful once they're done serving time.